Hey everyone, I'm Andrew Clyden. Welcome to the Door County Pulse, your weekly roundup of the good news and views in Door County. This week on the Door County Pulse, the Door County Plein Festival kicks off this weekend. Cherries are coming into season, and some tips on how to enjoy Door County safely this year. All that and more on this week's Door County Pulse. A lot of events have been canceled this summer, but many are still able to continue through the use of social distancing and masking. One great example is the Door County Farmers Markets, which are operating under a reduced capacity but still offer fresh food and produce. And there's a farmers market almost every day of the week in the summer. Right On Door County has been able to continue their programming in unique ways this summer, including author readings socially distanced out on their front lawn, as well as virtual residencies and other online offerings. One event that will go on as planned this weekend is the Door and Kewaunee Salmon Fishing Tournament, but then again, it's pretty easy to socially distance out on the water. Speaking of getting out on the water, our friend Maddie has been writing a series of beach profiles for the Pulse every week, and last week she profiled Sand Bay Beach. Figured we'd give her a call and see what's coming up next.
Hi.
Hey Maddie, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. So, you've been writing a series of beach profiles for the Pulse. Tell me a little bit about your first profile at Sand Bay Beach.
So, I was looking through some old pictures of beaches and realized that I hadn't ever been to Sand Bay, and it was one that potentially would actually have some sand with the water being high. So I decided I'd check that one out, and I thought it was a really cool space, so I thought it would be a good thing to profile.
Cool. So that came out in the Pulse not last week, but the week before, I believe. And you've got another beach profile that's coming up soon. Which beach are you working on next?
So Egg Harbor Beach is going to be in the next issue, and that's kind of another one for different reasons that I didn't really know that much about, even though it's kind of right close to downtown Egg Harbor, and it's got a lot of different amenities. I thought it would be a fun change from like lakeside to bayside, and then from kind of more remote to something that's a little bit more accessible.
Cool. Tell me about your process in writing these beach profiles. Are these opportunities for you to go out and experience the beaches for the first time, or are you trying to capture kind of what makes the beach special to tell other people about? Tell me what goes into writing one of these.
Yeah, so I would say it's a little bit of both. I've been coming up here for summers for a long time, but have really pretty much stuck to the lakeside near Jacksonport and Bailey's Harbor. So it's a little bit of a learning experience for me, as well as it's something that I think, if people are having similar experiences as me coming up to Door County, what beaches would interest them, and if they have kids, which one would they want to go to with kids, or if they want to kayak, there are different ones you can go to for that. So my plan is to kind of just highlight beaches that I think would kind of fulfill different people's interests or needs, because there's a lot of different things you can do on a beach in Door County.
Right. What do you think is the most interesting tidbit that you picked up about Egg Harbor Beach so far?
Well, I looked in a little bit to how it, like the construction and how it's expanded and things over the years. And so it's really cool the evolution that beach has kind of undergone. And also I really like that it has kind of, it's really accessible. There's like a concrete pathway that goes all the way down to the beach. So you can bring strollers or wheelchairs or any sort of, it's like a really accessible beach. So I thought that was the coolest part.
Great. Well, Maddie, I'm looking forward to checking out this article and to watching over the entire beach series this summer. I will let you get back to it, but thanks for coming on and chatting with me.
Thank you.
Finally, this weekend marks the kickoff of the 2020 Plein Festival, which will be done mostly virtually this year. Artists will be painting from their homes across the country, and all of the art will be available to view and buy on the Peninsula School of Art's online live auction all week long. For more information, you can go to www.peninsulaschoolofart.org. This week on the Door County Pulse podcast, we talked with Laurel Hauser, the new interim director over at Crossroads at Big Creek, about some of the new programming that you can experience this year, as well as new interactive trail maps. If you haven't listened to the Door County Pulse podcast yet, you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on Spotify, or you can dig into the archives over at doorcountypulse.com/podcasts. It is the middle of July, which means we are very close to being able to enjoy this year's cherry harvest. So I thought that I would give Pulse foodie Aaliyah Kidd a call to chat cherries, but also to see what else is new in the food scene this week. Hi, Aaliyah.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
So, a couple of cool things happening this week. I guess to start off, we're getting pretty close to being able to pick cherries and stuff, right?
Yep. The sweet cherries are definitely being picked right now, and I think there's a few places that you can go and pick your own. But then the tart cherries, I think, are just coming into season this week and next week, depending on where in the peninsula.
Are you looking forward to being able to jump into the cherry scene again?
Yeah, I mean, I love having fresh cherries available just to eat on their own on the counter. So the sweet cherries are great for that, obviously. And then just stocking up on the fresh cherries for pies and stuff later for baking and all of that.
Great.
And of course, cherry bounce.
Right.
Can't forget that.
For people who don't know what cherry bounce is, give me your elevator pitch. What is cherry bounce?
It's essentially putting a lot of cherries in a big mason jar with your booze of choice, letting it sit until around Thanksgiving or Christmas, and then you bring it out and pour it over ice.
Very cool. What else is new in the food scene this week? What have you been seeing out there that's new either this week or last week?
Yeah. So this past week, I stopped into the new location of Red Oak Winery, which has been a winery since 2004 in Sturgeon Bay, but it's now moved its location up to Carlsville, which is right next to Door County Coffee and Tea.
Okay.
So that's a great new location for the tasting room, and you can stop in there and taste their varieties of wines. Their wines source grapes from California and the West Coast, so they've got some really good ones, and they also have some fruitier, sweeter wines too. So that was fun. And their new space is really beautiful. It's really coming together. They are doing some finishing details, but a great stop if you're into visiting the wineries. The other thing that's new that I haven't gotten down to try yet is Von Steele Winery in Algoma. They have added hard cider drafts to their repertoire of beverages. So I think right now they have 4 or 5 different hard ciders on draft if you go down there for their music series, which happens on Saturdays and Sundays. And so that's really exciting for them, and the flavors seem really interesting too. They have like a rum barrel aged apple cider, hard cider, a guava flavored. I can't remember what I have to double check what the other ones are, but there's a few interesting flavors. Cranberry that I would really love to try, but haven't gotten down there yet.
You know, one other thing that I wanted to ask you about real quick before I let you go, you're starting a Know Your Growers series in the Pulse as well, and the first issue of that, or the first installment of that is in this week's Pulse. Can you tell me a little bit about the Know Your Growers series?
Yeah, so around our conversations with food, a lot of times we want to know if the food is local or not, and if so, if people are visiting or living up here, if they can get that produce locally as well. So we decided to kind of highlight the different farmers in the area that are growing their own produce or fruit or other products, and share a little bit more about them. So like who is actually growing the food, what the farmers' names are, etc. So we started that last week in last week's paper with Robin's Nest Farm, and I've been a CSA member there the last couple of years before we moved up to Sister Bay, but Joe and Josiah are the farmers, and they've both been doing it for decades in Door County. So they're really knowledgeable. They moved to their 20-acre farm a couple of years back, and they're just continuing to make their services bigger and better every year. So that's cool to know about them. And then this week, I believe Deb did the Know Your Growers feature on cold climate farms. So I'm interested to read more about them.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems like it's going to be a really cool series moving forward. That's all I wanted to know about, Aaliyah. Thanks so much for sharing what's going on in the food scene. I'll let you get back to it.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Finally, I want to leave you with a video that Peninsula Filmworks produced for Destination Door County that is full of tips for how you can explore Door County this summer safely.
Visitors in Door County this season can expect wonderful outdoor opportunities, and we're asking visitors to take precautions that are fairly common everyday practices these days.
What's going to be important though over the course of the time you're coming up here now in the setting of COVID-19 is things like wearing a face mask. Cloth masks are great. Washing your hands frequently. Maintaining that physical distancing between people about 6 feet apart.
These simple but effective efforts have the ability to greatly reduce the risk of spread of COVID, save lives, and save burden on our healthcare system. We would ask that everyone practice these simple measures.
And obviously what we're trying to do is follow the guidelines that have been provided by the CDC and WEDC for our businesses to follow. And now we're also asking the tourists to also follow those guidelines.
We're looking forward to welcoming guests to Door County. To do that though, we have to be safe. We need to wear those masks, wash our hands, and maintain physical distancing, and we all can have a great time.
And by taking those precautions while they're here visiting in Door County, we hope to continue to be able to welcome visitors throughout the course of the summer and fall and beyond, given the situation that we're in.
And that is just some of the cool stuff that Door County has been up to this week. If you've got something that you'd like to share with us, go ahead and send it to us on our Facebook page at Peninsula Pulse. We cannot wait to see what you and your neighbors have been up to. Thank you for watching the Door County Pulse. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. If you're watching on Facebook, share the video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. I'm Andrew Clyden. Thank you for watching the Door County Pulse, and we will see you again next week. Thank you for watching the Door County Pulse. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you will be notified as soon as there is new Door County content for you. You can check us out online at doorcountypulse.com, where you can see Door County news and the Door County Pulse podcast. Check out another video while you're here, maybe watch a playlist, and we'll see you next time.